Hello and welcome to Cinefy Recapped. Spoilers ahead. Watch out and take care. Today I am going to explain an American thriller film named Now You See Me. At the beginning of the movie, we see one of the magicians. His name is Daniel and he is showing his magic by playing cards. Then the scene shifts and we see Merritt, who is the master of hypnotizing. It means he can hypnotize anyone to do his task. After this, there is the entry of Jack. He is showing the magic to people on the boat with a spoon. In the end, we see Henley and she was performing her magic in Los Angeles. Here a mysterious man seems keeping an eye on all of them. Who is this man? It is a mystery and we will know it at the end of the movie. Here we see these four get the tarot cards. There was an eye symbol on those cards. And there was an address and a date mentioned on those cards. It means it was an invitation. They all reach a building whose address was mentioned on that card. Reaching there, they find the building is locked. Then Jack says no, nothing can be locked and breaks the lock of the building. When they go inside they find a rose and a jug of water. As they put the rose inside the water, smoke produced from the flower. With it, a projector turns on. There was the design and detail of the show on it. It was a kind of blueprint. It means now they have to work together. Then 1 year later, we see them in Vegas performing a show named the Four Horsemen. There we see two more new characters of the movie, Arthur and Thaddeus. Arthur is the sponsor of this show and also a huge businessman. Thaddeus does the work to expose the magic of the magicians. He shows the mystery of their tricks to people. He was also recording a video of this show so that he can expose them in public. The magicians show many tricks in the show. Their last trick was a bank robbery. They choose a man from the public, takes the bank details, and calls him on the stage. Daniel gives a card to the man on the stage. He asks him to sign the card and place it in his pocket with the ticket for this show. They were about to send the man to his bank through their magic. That's why Merritt and Jack make him wear a device by which he will be connected with this show. Henley brings a teleportation machine on stage through her magic. Now they send the man to the bank in Paris through this teleportation machine. The man genuinely disappears from the stage. After some time, we see the man was visible to a huge screen of the show. He was in the locker of bank and there was a lot of money. According to the instructions of Daniel, he places the signed card and the ticket for the show between the money. Then he presses a button on his helmet. Due to which all that money goes to the ventilation pipes and comes to the place where the show was going on. The hall was full of money. Now they ask people to check if the money is real and the money is found absolutely real. On another side, when the bank opens, bank officials do not find the money, rather there was the signed card and the ticket of the show. They become famous overnight and the police arrest them because of the robbery. An FBI agent Dylan investigates the bank robbery with his companion from Interpol. He was investigating the man who was used by magicians in robbery, but they don't know anything from that man because the magicians hypnotized the man during the show, and he was still hypnotized. After that, they start investigating the horsemen, but the horsemen make them fool with their tricks and talks and leave from there. And thus, police don't get any evidence against them. Dylan wanted to solve this case at any cost. As soon as he comes to know the magician Thaddeus, who exposed the magicians, was in this show, he immediately goes to take help from Thaddeus. During their conversation, we come to know about Lionel Shrike. He was a great magician but his career was destroyed when Thaddeus exposed him, but he didn't lose hope and he starts making new tricks. While performing a escape trick, Lionel Shrike dies inside a safe one day. Here they ask Thaddeus, are you considering yourself responsible for the death of Lionel Shrike? He says no, he died just because of his trick. After it, Thaddeus explains to them how horsemen robbed that bank. He tells them that they had already hypnotized the man from whom they take the details of the bank. The same copy of the bank was made under the stage. It means the man didn't teleport to Paris, rather he just went under the stage. The money which disappeared from the bank, maybe was robbed during the transfer time and the duplicate money was placed in return. The card the man signed and the ticket for the show was also placed there. The duplicate money they placed there was made of fire paper, which means it can burn easily and disappear from there. After this, we see horsemen in a new show. Dylan and Thaddeus also come in the show of horsemen. They call a businessman, Arthur, on the stage for their last trick. Arthur was the sponsor of their show. Daniel asks the audience of the show to check their bank balances. After that, Henley brings a huge check. The amount that was in Arthur's private bank account was mentioned on the check and it was approximately $140 million. Here Merritt again asks the people in the show to check their bank balances. Surprisingly, their bank balances were increasing. Now the amount the people on the show get, the same amount from Arthur's account, was decreasing. Like this, the people in the show get all the money and Arthur's balance gets zero. Now horsemen tell that the people in the show were called willingly. The people face loss because of the natural disaster, and when they go to claim for insurance they didn't get the insurance money from the company. This insurance company was of Arthur. That's why all the money from his bank account was given to these people. Telling all this, those horsemen vanish from there. Dylan wants to catch them, but they successfully escape from here. The next day, Dylan's companion tells him about the iMagicians community. They rob the money from the rich and give it to the poor. They also stop the evil tasks in the world. She tells him the community include 2 or 3 magicians in their community every 100 years. She says, I think maybe these horsemen want to be a part of the I community, that's why they are doing this. Then Dylan sees towards her and says while thinking, maybe there is a 5th man who is also with them and is helping them. After that, we see Dylan's phone is showing some error. As he checks his phone, he comes to know that this is not his phone, rather Daniel has replaced his phone with a duplicate clone phone. All the messages and calls on this phone were traced. After the investigation, Dylan gets their address, the place where these horsemen were living for a year. Before Dylan arrives there, these horsemen remove their pieces of evidence. We see Jack is burning some papers. Meanwhile, Dylan comes there. The other 3 horsemen moved from there and only Jack was left there. Jack's task was still left and they start fighting, but Jack successfully runs from there with the papers. Now we see all FBI cars were following Jack's car because they want to catch Jack, and want to take those documents from him which he had in his hands. Meanwhile, Jack's car gets into an accident and Dylan immediately takes those documents from his car, and then the car blasts. Dylan comes to know from these papers that now the horsemen will rob a private security constructor. He has done $1 million in corruption. The government was also investigating it and the case was also under Dylan. There we also come to know that Daniel has taken this information from Dylan's phone. They come to know that the whole money is in a secured locker and that locker is placed in a house. The FBI team goes there for the security of the locker, but going there, they find the house empty. It means there wasn't any locker. Through investigation, they come to know that Dylan's boss has given permission to transfer the box. It means those horsemen have also hypnotized his boss. As Dylan searches for the truck in which there was the box, they see this is the wrong locker and there were only balloons in this locker. Here we see those horsemen in a YouTube video. They were telling about their new and the last show, and this show will be free, everyone can come to watch it. The FBI team also come to know all this, and the FBI team also go to their show. Here magicians do a live broadcast inside the building. The show was going on the building through a projector. Then they go to the roof of the building and the FBI goes there to catch them. But the FBI couldn't catch them because they were just puppets. They see that those magicians were on the top of another building. They talk to their fans and then they jump from the building, but even here they were not real, they were projectors. That's why all the money starts flying over there. Then we are shown they are running from the backside of the building. All people were collecting the money, but an FBI agent sees that the money was duplicate. Then it becomes a mystery for them. If this is fake, then where's the real money? Meanwhile, Thaddeus, who was going to his car, when he unlocks his car, the money comes out of his car, which shows that this money was stolen by him or it was stolen for him. Then the police arrest Thaddeus. Dylan thinks he is the 5th companion of horsemen. Here Dylan comes to meet Thaddeus in jail. Thaddeus says to Dylan, I know how the magicians did this. He says Jack is also not dead, he is still alive. He tells him the car in which Jack was running and the car which FBI was chasing, those were different cars. The car FBI was chasing, Jack wasn't in it. Then he tells him, when you see there is no locker in the house, that was just a scam. It means they have adjusted a mirror in front of the locker, that's why you feel the house empty. With this, he further tells, when you went to search for the other locker, then Jack came there, he breaks the mirror and locker and takes all the money. Here Dylan asks him, why would anyone pretend to kill himself? They didn't even keep money, why would someone take such a huge risk? On this, Thaddeus says, this is the only thing that I couldn't understand. Dylan replies to Thaddeus, now I understand the whole story. When Thaddeus turns his face back, the mystery of the movie discloses. Dylan instantly moves out of the jail. He says to him, maybe someone has taken revenge on you. The revenge in Lionel Shrike, whom you exposed and have destroyed his life. He tells him the locker that was used at the time of the incident, it was made by the alcohol company for the bank, which was robbed by the horsemen. Due to the error in the locker, Lionel Shrike died. After the death of Lionel Shrike, the company of Arthur didn't claim the insurance for his family, that's why the man has also taken out the money from Arthur's account. These horsemen have taken revenge on Lionel Shrike while robbing all of them, they all have trapped you. After this, when Thaddeus turns back to think something, suddenly, Dylan comes out and the mystery of the movie is disclosed, that he is the 5th horseman. We also come to know that Dylan is the son of Lionel Shrike. He has done all this for his and his family's revenge on them. The mysterious man whom we saw at the start of the movie who was keeping an eye on them, he was the man. Now they find a tree of Lionel Shrike. There was a nice symbol on it, and as they put their cards on it, they see all the lights, songs, and swings turn on. Here they meet Dylan. Seeing him, they become happy and they understand Dylan has called them together. Dylan is the fifth horseman and he also worked for the I community. Now Dylan welcomes them in the I community. With this movie ends here.